Welcome to the Nonprofit Solutions Matter Daily Radio Show, where we tackle the tough issues that keep founders up at night and answer your questions on everything from fundraising and board recruitment to marketing and resource development. If you're looking to start a nonprofit, raise money, organize your board, reactivate your organization, or chat about your mission, text the number on the screen to book a free call. We're happy to provide clarity and connect you with the resources and tools to help you move forward. Now, let's jump into today's program. Stay tuned as our Vice President dissects today's topic. Feel free to ask questions by dropping your comment below. Let's get started.
Good morning. What a lovely day it is. What a lovely morning. It's another opportunity to talk about fundraising. Yesterday we were able to talk about corporate cash flow, and we were able to talk about the different steps you can begin to take today, to ensure you begin bringing in corporate donations and sponsorships. And today I'm here to expound on what we talked about yesterday. Today I'm going to really be narrowing down on what corporate cash flow really is. What does corporate cash flow mean for your organization as a nonprofit? What are the different forms of corporate cash flow? And, by today's discussion, you should be able to know the corporate cash flow, the kind of corporate cash flow your organization is, opportunities available for you in that direction. So straight on to the topic. Corporate cash flow is basically businesses, corporations supporting nonprofits. So this is really a fundraising strategy with a strong case behind it, because businesses are supposed to be able to give back to people who buy from them. Businesses are supposed to support the community they make money and profit from. And that's basically really the basis for corporate social responsibility. Some governments around the world are looking to really enact that so that it can be some sort of compulsion for businesses to be able to give back to the people they make money from. But of course, since it's yet to be a law, organizations and businesses have been running around that space trying to just get along. And so far, businesses have been able to support, so many nonprofits out there are being supported by businesses today. So that should tell you the place corporate corporate funding, corporate cash flow, the role corporate cash flow plays in a nonprofit sector. Within the year 2023, corporations gave as much as over $36 billion to nonprofits. And the interesting thing about corporate cash flow is majority of this funding is unrestricted. It is based on the value you can provide, because corporate cash flow is more like a value exchange strategy. You're getting funding, and then of course you're providing some benefits or opportunity back to the brand or the company who's supporting your nonprofit. So it's a value exchange strategy. And because of that, of course, there's a strong case to it, because businesses know that by giving to your nonprofit, by creating impact, they can grow their market share, they can bring in more profit, they can establish their brand in the hearts of their target audience. So really, corporate funding is a huge opportunity for nonprofit that you must not miss out from, because of course the money is there. Over the space of same 2023, businesses made over $1.1 trillion and they gave $36 billion. So you should see that there's still enough room to grab some funding for the people you serve. And the interesting thing is, some of the people you serve are the same people these businesses reach out to make money from. So you have a legitimate claim to that funding. You have a legitimate case study to that funding. So you should reach out. So corporate cash flow really plays a very important role in your organization. I'll tell you, like I said, it's an unrestricted funding source, meaning you can be able to use that funding to run every aspect of the organization. It is based on value. That is, you're providing value and then you're getting funding in return. That makes it a more of a concrete strategy, unlike where you have to depend on emotions or depend on the goodwill of people. But of course, corporate funding also depends on emotion and goodwill, but majority of it is based on the value you can provide back to the brand you're looking to get that corporate funding from. So really, since the pandemic, businesses are really more open towards corporate funding because they begin to see how the role businesses play in helping the communities and how that can come back to their brand as profit and an outcome. So they are more in tune to having these conversations. They are more in tune to partnering with non-profit if you have something solid, something tangible that you can provide them in return for that. So what are the different forms of corporate funding, corporate cash flow? There are different forms. You heard a lot about them. You know, sometimes we call it corporate sponsorship, really where an organization, a brand sponsors a non-profit with funding, and then of course they get some return for that sponsorship. But corporate sponsorship is really a transactional relationship in a way, because to an extent, the reason people are going for it because they know when I sponsor, there's this benefit. It could be a space in your event. It could be having their logos, brand materials all across your website and social media handles. But the core of it is the goal is there's really that benefit. These brands are coming together, and that's why they're sponsoring. The another form of corporate funding is the corporate partnership. Corporate partnership is like corporate sponsorship, but it's a more involved process. So when it comes to corporate partnership, it's not just about giving money, but the brand and the non-profit are working together to achieve a common goal. So the brand has some role to play in that partnership. Also, the way the non-profit has a role to play in that partnership, but at the core of it, the non-profit is getting funding, and of course, the brand is also getting some good benefits in return. Another type of corporate funding is what we call the corporate social responsibility funding. This is really organizations, brands, companies who understand that it is a compulsion to give back to people they make money from. So they set up these corporate social responsibilities initiatives. They set up this corporate social responsibility funding available for non-profits to tap into. So this the benefits may not be really very pronounced in this form of corporate funding, but of course, having a benefit back to your CSRO funders would ensure you get that funding more than anybody else. Another type of funding is what we call the ESG funding, the environmental, social, and governance funding. This is usually available from big brands. We have lots of brands who are committed to, climate change. Some have committed to environmental sustainability. These brands usually have funding available for non-profits to apply for and tap into. Another kind of corporate cash flow or corporate funding is what we call the in-kind donations. So funding and donations and fundraising doesn't always have to end or start with money. Sometimes it's all about just getting the materials you need to do your work. So for example, if you're helping kids and you need sport wear or sport shoes, you should be able to reach out to brands who make those stuff to be able to support your organization by giving your organization in-kind donations to meet up with your programs. Another kind of corporate funding is what we call the matching gift. This is quite prominent within the corporate funding space, where for every a non-profit and a brand can reach a sort of agreement where for every donation you make, we get to match that donation. Right. So for every donation a donor makes, they get to match that donation. It's another sort of funding, but it's really a funding that's dependent on your efforts. This is so that you can be able to put in the effort, and then the brand, help you complement your efforts by matching every gift that's given to you. Facebook does it. Lots of other brands out there do it. Another type of corporate funding of cash flow is what we call the employee volunteer program or the employee giving program. So you can actually partner with a brand, and then the employees of that brand could either volunteer within your organization, or they could give to your organization from their salaries. Brands, lots of brands have been able to do it, and this is one way for organizations to be able to, for brands to be able to commit to, impact on organizations that they, share the same vision with. So having an employee volunteer program or an employee giving is another form of corporate funding you can also look out for. Another aspect is what we call corporate grants. So just like CSR funding, corporate social responsibility funding, corporate grants are also available for nonprofits to apply for. So there are some businesses out there who put out corporate grants, Coca-Cola, and what have you. They put out this money to be able to, create some sort of impact. And then nonprofits can apply for this funding and, of course, use that to create their impact. Another type of corporate funding or corporate cash flow we should also be looking at is what we call the pro bono services from corporates. So some brands are very open to supporting nonprofits in every way possible. And one of these ways we've seen is through pro bono services. We've seen legal firms provide free pro bono services to nonprofits. That's a huge sponsorship, because if they put the monetary figure behind that, that would be a whole lot. We at Solutions Matter will also do it. We provide pro bono services as one of our grants to organization for capacity building, where we work with you to build your strategic planning, recruit board members, raise money, and all the good stuff we do with organizations. Aside that, we've also seen architectural firms who help nonprofits for free, provide their services to support the nonprofits, say they are looking to build a home, or real estate firms who help nonprofits find good properties without charging or collecting any money out of the process. So you've seen there are different forms of corporate funding, there are different forms of corporate cash flow, there are different ways corporations can actually help your nonprofit. And like I said, the good thing about this funding is it is reliable, because it's based on the value you give and how you can negotiate on that value. It is a value exchange strategy, making it a very unique form of raising money. It is based on the relationship you have with these businesses. Say, for example, they serve your audience, right? So it makes it a very solid and a very good way to raise money, because it is a strategy you can begin to execute on today, and before you begin to see the results. It's not like grants where you have to wait over a period for you to get approval. It's not like individual donations where you have to nurture lots of relationship. Though you get to nurture relationships in this one, but of course, it is a very straightforward strategy that can provide you results and returns within the shortest time. So I hope you've been able to learn something today. If you're struggling with raising money through corporate funding, if you want to raise money through corporate sponsorship, send us a message, reach out to us. We're happy to help you. We'll provide you a free consultation call to provide you clarity and help you understand what exactly you're doing before we look forward to, working and partnering with you to make your vision and your goals a success. That's that for today. Tomorrow, we're going to be on here to talk about the very first step of corporate partnership, which is resource assessment. We'll look at how do we assess the resources within your organization, how do we identify benefits for these partners, for these corporate funders, and then, of course, throughout the week, we're going to be looking entirely throughout the strategy to see how you can really raise money for your brand. I hope you've been able to enjoy us today. Send us a message, drop a comment below. We want to hear from you. We want to be able to support you to make your dream a reality. All right. So I see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you for tuning in to the Nonprofit Solutions Matter Daily radio show. We hope today's insights have been valuable in helping you tackle the challenges and opportunities within the nonprofit sector. We're here to support you in starting, raising funds for, and growing your nonprofit. If you have any questions or need further assistance, don't hesitate to reach out. You can send us an email to book a free discovery call,